Welcome everybody back to another edition of Explore the Summit. Ryan Powell here with the Summit League. We're talking diversity and inclusion with our friends from Western Illinois this week. It's their week to be spotlighted in our fall series, so we're excited to showcase what's going on in Macomb. Happy to be joined today by the men's basketball coach, Rob Jeter, in his first season there in Macomb. Carissa Tinsley is a track and field student athlete that is joining us, and also Anya Williamson, the assistant AD for communications, who I work closely with in my role at the league office. So happy to have you three joining us today. And we are talking diversity and inclusion. We start things off just with why that topic's so important to you. And Coach Jeter, get things started for us.
Country that's very diverse. We have a lot of different people with different backgrounds, different religions, different races. And it's important that we respect each other, that we get to learn how to interact and get along. So it's everywhere, and we have to learn how to deal with it.
Gotcha. Carissa, how about you?
It's important to me because I got my undergrad degree in sociology, so I spent close time learning about people's backgrounds, where they come from and everything. And it's close to me because the Black community, we need to see what's happening in the world today, and not just the Black community, but LGBTQ community, the people who are part of Black people are out here struggling, and it's important that we stay here and support them.
Good stuff. And Manye, how about you?
Yeah, I echo those sentiments. I think that diversity also brings about a diverse background and a diverse wealth of knowledge. And so whenever you make sure that people feel invited and included, it only makes your organization and just your personal learning a whole bunch better. Just learning from other people and getting to know other people. It seems that there's a lot of contention, there's a lot of arguments and disagreements, but it's always such a beautiful thing to know that no matter how diverse and different we may be, there are commonalities and there's something to learn from everyone.
Absolutely. Coach Jeter, first year head coach, you took the job March 30th. What are the conversations been like on your team with diversity and inclusion? How have you guys kind of come together in this first year where you're trying to build the program and kind of set your ways and get your mojo rolling?
Well, for us, I mean, it's all the time, right? We deal in a sport where we recruit all types of players from different backgrounds, from different communities, and you have to learn how to communicate. So I don't know if things have been different. I think things have been more in our face for everyone else. Right. But for our guys and for me as a coach, these are things we deal with all the time. You know, when I go into the inner city, there are things that are different when I go out compared to going out into a rural community and recruit a young man. So for me, the communication is always about trying to learn, try to understand each other, and trying to make sure that I can respect how other people are feeling and respect their cultures, but also make people feel comfortable. I think that's the most important thing at all. People have to feel included, feel like they are part of this and they're comfortable. So I don't know if things have been different. It's just fun to see now that people are really, really seriously taking a look at it.
Right. And I think one of the key words that a lot of people keep talking about is just, I have a voice and I'm being listened to, I'm being heard. And I know that's been important. And I can only assume for you as a student athlete, Carissa, that's one of the things that you probably, appreciate the most is just being able to have your voice heard. So what are some things that maybe you're doing on campus or that you and a group are doing on campus that are keeping this momentum going?
I want to say it started in the summertime when when everything first came out and when the George Floyd murder happened. I think all of us saw that there was a call and change of being Black athletes and having this platform that we should be standing up for our community. And the female Black athletes I have on my team, they're very strong, very opinionated women. They're very much standing on their own. So we came together and along with other Black athletes and made the Black Athlete Association, which now we're coming to the community as athletes to show that we support throughout their struggle.
What are some of the things that you guys are planning to do with that committee and that group?
It's a group that is based on uplifting Black student athletes to show that we are together, that we're here, that you're heard, that your problems and your feelings are always going to be heard and will forever be heard. some things that we want to plan on doing is running fundraisers for the Black community. We also want to do a unity walk. I know SIUC had done a unity walk with their football team. I know a lot of other teams have done it too, just to show that we all come together. And then me personally, I had saw that the NCAA had committed to us letting us wear patches. And I had talked to Manye about us creating a social justice patch for us standing together along with the Black Power symbol in the middle.
Gotcha. That's great stuff. And it's exciting to hear that, you know, within the Summer League that the momentum is going and that each of our different campuses are doing things to take initiative. And that's a whole, you know, an important word in this is just taking action. And it's exciting to see. Manya, I know you guys have some other things going on campus. There was a March to Vote, I know earlier last week, with led by a football player and included several other student athletes, and then you guys launched something else pretty special here in October. So just touch on those things.
Yeah, everything has been student-led, and so that's made me really happy. Working with student athletes like Carissa to know, like, again, we're listening to them. These are areas that are passionate to them, and not only to myself, but, you know, I don't speak on behalf of Western Illinois. Our student athletes and our coaches and our staff, we're all together on this, and to know that when they put forth these issues or they want to discuss these things, that we're not shying away from them anymore. And that was a great conversation that I had with our athletic director when the George Floyd murder occurred and everything else happened around that time. It was like you saw a bunch of statements coming out, and my conversation with our athletic director, Danielle Supernat, was we have to make sure that we're putting forth action. A statement is beautiful to say we stand with our student athletes, but you actually stand with your student athletes during this time. And that means coming out with action. And so shortly after that, we met with our Black identifying student athletes, and Carissa really was ready to go spearhead in some efforts. And so she was the reason why the Black Athlete Association is coming together and why it started, and actually trying to formalize it so that it's an official campus group. She's doing everything necessary, and they have initiatives. So it's not just about saying we're doing something, they're actually putting work behind it. Deshaun Gavin is a football player, not with the Summit League, with the Valley, but another student athlete who's also a part of the Black Athlete Association, who's doing some really great things. He registered some people to vote, first-time voters, which is also a beautiful thing as we head into this next election. And then today, for the first time, I think in probably athletics history, we're celebrating LGBT+ History Month in October, and we're recognizing and celebrating lesbian, gay, transgender, non-binary, stretching the gamut on all of that stuff of icons in sport, understanding that homophobia is such a touch point in sport, and recognizing that there are athletes that identify not just as straight, and so making sure that they're celebrated and recognized because they have contributed to this world of sport. And so such a beautiful thing. We have student athletes also leading those charges, trying to come up with safe space training with our LGBTQ resource center here, which kind of equips people with tools and provides education on how to do these things. My goal this month is to help dismantle homophobia, and our student athletes and coaches are doing some really great things. We're coming up with a pride video this month. Every Monday, our athletic department is going to recognize, again, those figures in sport. And so just pretty much listening and providing awareness and education has been such an awesome thing. And I love it that our student athletes are bringing this to us. And so it's not, this isn't something that we're trying to force down anybody's throat. It's like we have student athletes that identify and feel a certain way. And so my job is to amplify their voice and provide them the platform. And so that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're doing a great job with that, and definitely passionate about it. And that comes through with just your answer there. And I know, Coach Jeter, it's got to make you feel good as a coach on campus to see the action being taken by these different groups, and especially for a new guy to come into a place and see so much, you know, movement and momentum in these areas. Just talk about how you transitioned to Macomb and how you've transitioned with your team and leading in these areas and keeping that momentum going.
Yeah, it's fun down in a place where you see a lot of people that look like you, right? And people that you can identify with and be comfortable around. And for me as a coach, you hear the word action, right? We're always about action. What are you going to do? You can always talk about these things, but what do you actually do? And for us, our focus has been on voter registration. We've had our team in meetings and doing those things to get everyone squared away there. We've also done some things with police relations. Obviously, two hot topics right now
Right.
that you can't shy away from. You can't bury your head in the sand and think, okay, things are going to go away or get better. No, you have to get together. You have to talk. You have to hear each other out. You have to understand each point of view. So these are things that I've always done. Trying to get into the community. There's a few groups in town that get together regularly, a group of black men that get together. So I've tried to identify with those guys and introduce myself. These are things that I naturally do in any place. It's just now, I think because the conversation is so everyday, that it just makes it even more important that make sure that you're staying connected. In places I've been before, it's always trying to get back into some of those grassroots and get into the communities and do the different things that people do there. And one place there was a community garden that they take vacant lots and try to make them beautiful. So I see a CT Vivian, there was a tribute to him. They named the street after him, and they're going to open up a community center in his name. So I want to make sure I'm supporting those types of things that are right now. And it's important that people see not just my face, but my players' faces as well.
For sure. Sounds like great things are happening in Macomb. You guys have been awesome to talk to. I don't want to cut the conversation short by any means. Is there anything else that you guys are excited about? Anything that you're fired up about happening in Macomb before we wrap this up?
I'm just excited to see a change. I see that the community itself in Macomb has started to come behind and support Black students and people with any type of struggle. And they're understanding that we're all human at the end of the day. So it's exciting to see that, because I came here in 2018, I could see a big disconnect on this campus, from the campus to the community. And I definitely wanted to be the one to change it. And then COVID granted me this chance to come back and really leave my mark. So that's what I wanted to do.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're appreciating the uncomfortable conversations. These are never pleasant conversations. It's always hard sometimes to hear different viewpoints, especially when you're on the opposing side. But I just echo how important it is. It's so important to have these uncomfortable conversations because you learn and grow so much from them. I know in the last month there are things that no one knows everything. And so there are things that you don't know about, but when you hear about somebody's struggle or you hear about somebody's issue, you can't help but to get passionate about it, to want to fight for it and to stick up for them. And so that's where I'm at right now. I told my student athletes that there's no smoke, and we're not hide behind smoke and mirrors. Like, we're doing the work. And so if there's anything that they want to do or stand about us, talk about, let's provide resources and education to understand in those areas first. That has to come first, the resource and the education, but then let's put some action behind it. Let's figure out what we're trying to do. And so incredibly proud of our student athletes. Like, it's been awesome working with Carissa and our other student athletes. And so I'm excited to get some things working and moving to really show what diversity and inclusion mean. People often forget the inclusion part of it. We can have a diverse background, but if they're not feeling welcomed, loved, and supported, then you're not doing your job correctly. And so we're fighting for both areas. And so I'm really excited about that. Really grateful to be here, and thank you for having us on this panel.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem, guys. That was incredible. Manya, you touched on it. It goes beyond just that diversity and inclusion of race, and you guys are doing great things. Carissa, you're doing great things.
Thank
You're
you.
leading a great group of young men that we're excited to see as your first year as the head coach in our league. So I say keep things moving, because they definitely are. You guys, you talk action, and just by listening, you guys are definitely doing it, and can't wait to see the progress that you guys make there in Macomb.